Hello everyone, this is Anuj Sethi and welcome back to another video by AMS Group of Institutes. Now today's topic is how to prepare ledger accounts. This video is part of a series. So all those people who are new, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so that you will get a notification whenever we come up with the next video. So let's move forward with today's topic. Before we move forward with the accounting, first let's see what is a ledger. Ledger is simply a record in which all the transactions relating to one particular account is maintained. So let's go forward with the format. The format is simple. There are 4 columns. First is the particulars, then is the amount, then again a particular and then the amount. The left hand side is the debit side of the account and the right hand side is the credit side of the account. Plus you have to see one more thing. Whenever the account is closed, that is you're writing down the balance, you will always close with a double line in the end. This signifies that the account has been closed. So let's move forward with few questions. So practice question 1. In this we will have to prepare a cash account. We have been given a certain transactions. So what we will do, we will quickly convert them into a journal entry mentally and then we will put this into the ledger accounts. So transaction number 1. The owner invested cash in the business rupees 10,000. So the journal entry will be by cash account debit to capital 10,000 rupees. Now how are we doing the journal entry? We have seen this in the previous video. If you have missed that video, then please go back to the channel and see that link. So cash account debit to capital. Now cash is being debited. So we will do the entry in the debit side. So debit side is the left side. The amount was 10,000 rupees. So 10,000 rupees on the debit side. Now in the particulars, you will write that account name because of which this account is being debited. And that account was capital account. So on the debit side in the particulars, you will write to capital. To capital. Next we'll move towards the second transaction, that is the rent paid in cash rupees 2,000. In this rent is being paid using the cash. So the entry will be by rent account debit to cash account 2,000 rupees. Now in this the cash account is being credited. So we will do this entry on the credit side 2,000 rupees. And what was the debited account? It was rent. So by rent account debit. This is how you will post a journal entry in the books of accounts, that is the ledger. Next transaction is goods sold in cash rupees 5,000. Now some goods of our company are being sold in cash for 5,000 rupees. The entry will be by cash account debit to the sales account credit 5,000 rupees. So let's go forward with the posting. Now cash is being debited. So we will do this entry on the debit side. So to sales and the amount is 5,000 rupees. Next transaction. Salary paid in cash rupees 500. So in this salary is being paid. It is an expense. The entry will be by salary account debit to cash account credit. So let's move forward with the posting. Now cash is being credited. So we will do this entry on the credit side, rupees 500. And what are we paying? The salary. So by salary account debit. Next transaction. Goods purchased in cash rupees 10,000. Now goods are being purchased. So the journal entry will be by purchase account debit to cash account credit. Now cash account is being credited. So we will post this entry on the credit side. It is 10,000 rupees. And what was the debit amount? The debit account was purchase. So by purchase account debit. So this is how you will do the posting of the journal entries in a ledger account. But we are not done yet. We have to calculate the closing balances. Now, how will you calculate it? Simple. Firstly, we will total both the amounts, that is the debit amounts and the credit amounts. The debit amount is 15,000 and the credit amount is 12,500 rupees. Now 15,000 is the bigger balance. So this will have to be put as the final total on both these sides, that is on the debit side and the credit side. So 15,000 on the debit side and again 15,000 rupees on the credit side. Now in this, the credit side falls short by rupees 2,500. Now this will be the closing balance of cash account. We had 15,000 rupees. We paid 12,500 rupees. So we will be left with the balance, that is 2,500 rupees. So this will be the closing balance. Now in some schools and in some cases you will write it as the balance carried down. So the balance carried down. Both of these things are the same. So the amount was 2,500. So now we can say that the account is closed. Let's move forward with another example. In this, you will have to prepare the bank account. So let's go for the transaction. Cash deposited in bank rupees 10,000. Now in this, the journal entry will be by bank account debit to cash account credit. Now bank is being debited, so we will post this entry on the debit side of bank account, that is to cash rupees 10,000. To cash 10,000. Towards the next transaction. Rent paid by check rupees 5,000. So the entry will be by rent account debit to bank account credit. Now bank account is being credited, so we will post this entry on the credit side. By rent account debit 5,000 rupees. Next transaction is the goods sold to Rohit, who paid by check rupees 15,000. Now we are selling some goods to Rohit and he has paid us 15,000 rupees by check. So the journal entry will be bank account debit to the sales account credit 15,000 rupees. So we will post it on the debit side of bank account. So to sales and the amount is 15,000 rupees. We'll move forward towards the next transaction. Salary paid by check rupees 8,000. Now salary is an expense, so the entry will be by salary account debit to bank account credit. Now since bank is being credited, we will post it on the credit side by salary and the amount was rupees 8,000. The next transaction, that is the last transaction. Goods purchased and paid by check. The amount is rupees 7,000. Now again, this is an expense, so the entry will be by purchase account debit to bank account credit 7,000 rupees. So let's post it on the credit side of bank account by purchase rupees 7,000. Now as we have seen in the previous one, we will have to calculate the closing balances. And how will you do it? Simple. You will firstly find the debit total and then the credit total. The debit total comes out to 25,000 and the credit total, that comes out to 20,000. So the bigger balance is 25,000. So we will make sure we put both these balances, that is 25,000 in the debit total and the credit total. So 25,000 rupees debited and 25,000 rupees as the credit total. Now in order to make sure that the credit side total comes to 25,000, we will have to add rupees 5,000. So that will become the closing balance. You can see the total of credit. It is 5 plus 8 plus 7. That comes out to 20,000. So we have 5,000 rupees left in the bank balance. That will be the closing balance. So the closing balance or the balance carried down. Now, most of these things are same. So the balance is 5,000 rupees. So this is how you will close the bank account. Now mind you, the closing balance in this year will become the opening balance in the next year. So how will you carry forward these balances? We will see in another video. Let's do another. That is, we have to prepare a capital account. So let's move forward. Business started with cash rupees 10,000. In this, the journal entry will be by cash account debit to capital. Now we are preparing the capital account and it is being credited. So we will post it in the credit side. By cash rupees 10,000. Next transaction is building introduced in the business rupees 50,000. Now the journal entry will be by building account debit to capital account because the owner is introducing the building into the business. The business is not the owner of this building. So again capital will be credited and building account will be debited. The amount was 50,000 rupees. Let's move forward. Next is cash withdrawn for personal use, rupees 5,000. In this, the owner is withdrawing 5,000 rupees cash from the company for his personal use. So the entry will be by capital account debit to cash account credit. So since capital is being debited, we will post it on the debit side. To cash, rupees 5,000. The next transaction is cash withdrawn from bank for personal use, rupees 15,000. Now mind you, in this the owner is withdrawing from the bank account of the company and not the cash of the company. So the entry will be by capital account debit to bank account credit 15,000. So capital में हम debit side में post करेंगे इसको. So the entry will be to bank account rupees 15,000. So now we will do the closing balances. Firstly, the total of the debit side and the credit side. The debit side total is 20,000 and the credit side total is 60,000 rupees. So the bigger total is 60,000. We will write this in the total of the debit as well as the credit side. So 60,000 rupees on the debit side and 60,000 rupees on the credit side. Now it's time for calculating the closing balances. The credit side is 60,000. The debit side is 20,000. So we have a balance of 40,000 rupees. So the closing balance, or we can say the balance carried down, both of these are the same thing. It will be 40,000 rupees. Now let's take a halt over here. We are writing the closing balance on the debit side, but this does not mean that it is a debit balance. It is a credit balance. Just to make sure that both the totals are same, we are writing it on the debit side. See, the credit side was 60,000 and the debit side is 20,000 rupees. So we have a 40,000 credit balance. So just to make sure that both these total are similar, we will put this total on the debit side. That is, the closing balance is being written on the debit side, but it is a closing balance of credit. So this is how you will account for ledgers. This is it for today's video. If you found this video to be useful, then please give it a thumbs up and share this link with your fellow peers and students. And as always, happy learning.